Oh,
I always
absolutely. We're not lying
I
here.
may I may be an absolute dick to Trend. In
You said
but
that. That's the first thing they're gonna hear.
I
Hello, audience.
I
Hey,
when
listen.
when I say dick, I mean like friendly dick. All right. I'm a friend. I may be a friendly dick to Trend on his server,
I
but
am
you know,
too.
I always treat his videos fairly. I always listen to them,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll give you a bone on that one, Trent. Not the kind of dick where you know
Shut up.
On a
No,
s- on a
shush.
side note,
No more.
on a side note, don't you find it interesting that there's not a lot of people who name their kids Dick anymore? It's
Well,
like that name is gone.
well, it's more like they named their kids Richard, which is
Yes.
an anagram for some reason. But
It's like
anyways,
they even tried to do it in DC Comics with like changing Dick Grayson's name to Richard, and it
and I'm
didn't
like,
work.
no, of course it doesn't work. It's like Rich Grayson. It's like, wow, jerk.
Wow.
You're a jerk because you're rich. Like, yeah.
Uh,
But anyways,
eh,
this is number 60 um, of the episodes. Man, we're getting up there. We're
let's hope
going.
so.
Yeah. Um, and if you don't know, how we're going after Trendfox's newest video, the peak writing one. There's a thumbnail for it, you know, and I think he changed the thumbnail when I was away because now
Yeah,
uh it has Brian. It's like, don't be this guy. I like his old one better. Like
I like the Gordon one. Yeah.
I do, and I'm not gonna change mine because that's who it has with Trent's face. So it's like, yeah, I like it. So so we do know him. I'm on there quite a lot. I think I'm a like a moderator on this channel. So, but I just want you to know all this stuff. So I'm like, we'll be judging it fairly because he does have bad takes. Who knew, huh? Um,
well,
Oh,
all most of his actually like 98% of his takes on his YouTube channel are not bad takes.
mm-hmm.
He's a whole fucking different beast when we actually talk to him.
Yeah.
yep.
Sometimes I'm like, what? Like, oh, it's his video game takes that are really weird.
And you know, we're all aware of it enough to that we poke fun of it. You know, everybody on the trends, well, those who have been on the trend server the longest have made fun of that fact. But you know, Trent still has good takes even without the videos. So yeah, he's just a nice guy to talk to.
Join my server and you'll find his server. Pretty easy. Yep.
Yep.
But anywho, so the writing chops of everybody. I think we've all tried to write something.
I am writing something right
Oh
now.
yeah, yeah. There you go. I'm writing something right now. I write scripts. I also write as a hobby that comic book thing, and it's going pretty well. I um I misspelled martial, as in like martial combat, which is basically like physical hand to hand combat with like
Mhm.
weapons and stuff, melee and stuff, and I spelled it as material for some reason. So it's like I'm well versed in material combat. It's like that doesn't make any sense.
Well,
So
yeah,
I missed out on that. So I
I
and I corrected it.
I respect Trend enough to where anytime I'm writing something that isn't a video, well, even when I'm editing videos, which I have been doing a lot recently,
Ooh.
every time I edit or write something that isn't a video script, I always go to Trend, and I ask his opinion on what I'm doing, and I always
Mhm.
take his advice. And there are times when I say my piece, and I don't necessarily agree with some of his points, but it's still a civil conversation for the most part. in terms of him
for the
helping me
most
out.
part. But like I get it, because the thing about getting ideas is that just because someone has more experience doesn't mean their ideas are best for your project, and sometimes you have to ignore or like not take advice. But it definitely takes
Well,
a lot of wisdom to know the difference.
well, ideas are cheap. It's the execution that matters
Um,
at the end of the day.
woo! That's my motto.
Hmm.
Oh, I should say my motto is ideas are easy, execution is hard. Yeah.
Well, my motto, which Trend always jabs at me, is whenever I talk about writing, I'm like consistency and follow through when getting your drafts finished.
Yeah.
Show up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Falco.
Mm-hmm.
Shep is asking if he can join.
Yeah,
Oh. Oh, okay.
I DM'd you, Falco, but
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
Sure.
No, yep.
Sure. Sure to be the frugal.
I think he left the open space.
Oh, he
He
did?
left the
Oh, yeah, he did. Well, I'm sorry if I'm like a little bit.
Hold on.
Da, 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 da.
There he is. There he
There
is.
he
All
is.
There
right,
he is.
his name is Sheppy Boy. All right, hello.
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 We're talking about
Hello, Shep.
writing. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Sounds good.
And so, like,
I might
mhm.
I might sound a little weird just because I have a different setup.
um,
But
sounds good so far.
all right, well, if you hear anything weird, just let me know.
Of course. You sound a lot crispier, if that makes any sense.
That's okay.
um, Usually when you hear something in someone else's like background when they talk, it's like a little reverb, but you have none of that. So it's that's why it's crispier.
Great.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I got a. Oh yeah, there it is. I apologize. Like I am everywhere. I'm only one laptop man.
Hmm.
So I am. Here's a link for you, Sheppy, for this watch together. Oh my gosh, I got a message for something.
Well, actually, due to the fact that this is
Mm-hmm.
our first uh our first coverage of Trend, we should also probably mention that uh Trend Trend here is responsible for making the intro to Open Bar,
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. He is. Yeah.
which is Critical Drinkers podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
He's a
yeah,
good
dude,
editor. Yeah.
yeah, he's a really good editor.
Oh yeah.
So he knows about visuals and stuff, I'm sure.
He,
So it
he's
shouldn't
one
be
of the
boring to look at.
he's one of the few like essayists who like does like that snappy editing, and I don't get like annoyed by it because all the clips are relevant.
Hmm.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go to the main dish, which is this full screen. All right. Are you in? Is everybody in?
I'm in.
All right. I'm gonna make
Yeah,
sure
I
it's
think
working.
we're on.
I'm gonna make sure it's working. All right. Cool. Because like sometimes it doesn't want to. So,
Hmm.
anyways, let's go.
You seriously surprise me. Thank you, Chef. You surprise me to how shit you are. Oh, thank you.
Look, I don't want to become the Gordon Ramsay of writing,
What a mess. Oh boy.
but the more analysis
We need more Gordon Ramsays of writing, okay?
Yeah.
I do say I do like it is because of I think Trendfoxs and that I did check out Fearin and I loved it. It's really great.
Fantastic anime.
Everyone should go check it out.
It's
videos
one of the
I
best.
make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the best anime I've watched in a very long time. Like I could see this being in my top 10. Like
It's it's easy to watch. It's not like but it still has enough like adult themes. But it's a chill watch. You're not gonna
yeah,
like it's something that makes you feel good at the end of the day for all the right reasons.
yep.
It's really cool.
The more I'm starting to understand Gordon. The man genuinely loves culinary craft.
Who's who's repeating?
Is it
Me?
me?
I mean, I have headphones.
I think it's you, Shep.
All right. Oh yeah, right. The video. Yeah, I'll just mute.
He traveled the world, tasted some of the finest delicacies, and developed a palate for food and the skill it takes to prepare it. So when someone serves him day old microwaved food or raw chicken, it's hard for him not to take it as an insult to the craft.
It tasted disgusting.
The anger doesn't always come from how bad it is, but from how good it could have been.
We have the most amazing equipment, and yet the product is shit. Shit.
When someone claims
I agree with this actually always
Yeah.
because like it's not just that he has the skill. It's also that that like you could hurt somebody by doing that stuff. And
Well,
when you have money and you pay for something that's like $10 worth of food or whatever, you expect it to be better than something you get at home.
well, yeah, but I actually did see this clip with Trend while he was editing.
Mhm.
This was all about the fact. This was all about the fact that Gordon sees that they have been microwaving a lot of their meats, even
That's
though
retarded.
they were they were microwaving
Mhm.
their meats, even though they were already cooked really well because they had a smoke machine, like a smoking smoking
That would just
machine.
dry it out
And-
even more.
Oh, smoker. A
Yeah.
smoker. Okay.
Yeah.
A smoker, and the meats actually were well smoked. They looked delicious. But you know, Gordon realizes that that's when he says that it's like you are able to make these delicious meats, and the product you
Yep.
give us is shit because you microwave it.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because this is going to overcook the meat.
It will dry it out, making
Yeah.
it taste worse. The juice is no longer in it in the smoke taste.
Yeah, essentially they smoke the meats and then they leave them in the fridge for a little while, and then they when they need to bring them out, they microwave it. It's like it's like
Oh.
That's even worse.
that's horrible.
Dude, you lose so much flavor when you freeze and then you reheat.
Yep. Like that's why it's like the meals you bring home and reheat are never going to be as good as you did in the restaurant.
Yep.
claims to be a professional chef and can't even make a simple salad, it can be infuriating.
They actually grilled the lettuce.
But the real frustration comes from the chef's attitude towards Gordon's feedback.
I love the way you got excuses for everything.
Excuses, defensiveness, blaming the customer, or questioning Gordon's credentials.
Here's a guy from Scotland. What the fuck's he know about lasagna?
It's a defense mechanism, and if you watch Kitchen Nightmares, you know those defenses are the first thing that needs to break before the failing restaurant can turn it around.
Oh.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I've seen all the Kitchen Nightmares, and it's just like,
Yeah.
it's usually the owners.
I have seen plenty of Hell's Kitchen, and I've seen a good amount of Kitchen Nightmares. It's just that Kitchen Nightmares American is much more what's the word?
Dramatized.
Yeah, it's definitely made for the typical American audience because it has a lot of sound effects, music,
Sensationalist. Yeah.
It's it's like the musical Saw, which I do hate, but the attitudes and stuff is real. It's more like it's very manipulative, like in a bad way, like when it comes to that stuff.
Well, yeah. And I tried watching the original British Kitchen Nightmares, and while it is definitely better than the American one, I do have to say it makes me sad watching it. The first episode, you know, Gordon tries his absolute best to get this chef back into, you know, taking care of his kitchen, cooking all these good foods, making sure everything's in line, treating his workers with respect. He does all this, and at the end of the episode, when Gordon goes back to see how he's doing after so long, he goes back to doing the shit that he wasn't supposed to do. And Gordon goes like, well, I guess his place isn't going to last long, and that's how the episode ends. It's like, oh,
No.
that sucks.
Yeah,
That's what happens.
yeah.
show is far less about cooking and more about shattering egos of delusional restaurant owners until they're finally willing to see the flaws and fix them.
We need to start being honest and open. I can't rebuild on BS.
And that's kind of what I want to try in this video. I picked out 7 ego-shattering truths that all writers need to hear before they get too far into their writing journey. Understanding and accepting these harsh realities won't just put you ahead of your peers, it'll help you decide whether you actually want to be a writer at all. Writing is a craft like any other. You need the commitment and the mindset to hone it. But like any craft, the Dunning-Kruger effect is in full swing. So the sooner we get you into the valley of despair, the faster you can climb the slope of enlightenment.
It's kind of funny he's saying this because I've always had the attitude like Kitchen Nightmares is all about, it's kind of like a drill sergeant or like going through boot camp, because like you have to reset them in order to train them to be what you want them to be, and then you have to make sure that you set that mentality, so you have to tell them the harsh truths, the things, and train them in the new way, and then convince them, not just bulldoze your way through, you know.
I feel like that's more true of Hell's Kitchen, like the boot camp analogy.
Somewhat.
Because like he's trying to basically like weed out like weakness,
Yes.
essentially. Whereas Kitchen Nightmares, he's like, I don't know. I feel like he's like putting on several different hats. Like now he's like here. Now he's a coach. Now he's a therapist. Now he's a chef. You know. Now he's a. You know what I mean? Like he's actively trying to help people more. Whereas in Hell's Kitchen, he's like trying to essentially look for any sign of weakness, and the best of the best come out.
Absolutely, because if they can't make it there, they can't make it in his restaurants. Absolutely. I'm just
also.
Yep.
Yeah, my bad.
No, it's good.
Something I also want to emphasize is the Dunning-Kruger effect that Trend is highlighting, because there's so many modern writers out there, Ryan Johnson, who suffer this effect quite a bit, where they think they're more capable than they actually are. And it usually comes back from, you know, and this is going to sound a bit vulgar, when you have a lot of people just sniffing your own farts and saying that you're like amazing.
Whoa, too far.
No matter what. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But like I totally get it though, but then again, like Hollywood smells his farts and they think it's like, this is genius. And then he gets a cult, and then he gets a following. Then it's like, yes, genius, and he gets the money. Like, and that's the thing though. It's like it's a false sense of bravado that he can just write anything and it'll turn into gold. So it's like, all right. It is sort of a bottom-up problem that can lead to your own ego.
Yeah, and you contrast him to someone like Edgar Wright with, like, say, Hot Fuzz, and how he
Hey, I just saw
painstakingly
Hot Fuzz. Nice, yeah.
great film, one of my favorites. You can tell that Edgar Wright, like, painstakingly redrafted that script line by line, beat by beat, because there's not a single wasted thing in Hot Fuzz. All of it is relevant for the plot and the characters. And it's like, that to me is like peak writing.
It's true.
Is when nothing is wasted.
It's like the guy walking across the street with his coat. And it's like, that's not wasted. That's a he uses a lot of like Chekhov's gun in that sort of in the early parts. Because everything gets used later on. So it's like this details that you're noticing, you kind of forget about until it's brought up again.
Yep.
Of course, like I do like Hot Fuzz, but I do prefer Shaun of the Dead.
That's also a good movie.
Which has a literal Chekhov's gun. Like
the gun of the bar.
Yes.
To the plateau of sustainability. Then let's not waste any time and dive in. Number 1, your first stories will be shit. Let's get this out of the way. Yes, your first stories will be bad, and that's a good thing.
Everybody falls the first time.
You're entering a new form of art, a whole new craft.
So what do you I know it's not always true, because there are people who just can get some sort of gold out of their first project, but writing though, I don't think so. I think your first stories will be garbage. I
I
I kind of
yeah.
agree.
Well, because I think a good story is that you're trying to achieve verisimilitude. And a lot of that is immersion and believability. And that can be really difficult to nail on a first draft because
Mhm.
let's just assume that like everything plot and character and world wise are good ideas and they all cohesively like they all cohesively like connect with each other. There's really no major like contradictions or anything. You can still go back and revise that work to make it better. You can tighten things. You can add,
Mhm.
dialogue motifs, for
Oh,
example.
where did
Oh,
Chief go?
Oh, did he leave?
yeah.
Okay.
I think so. He got called over by his wife. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, really? All right.
Understandable.
All right.
Yeah.
That's cool. Um
Okay.
anywho, but
Yeah.
so yeah, what was that other thing I was trying to say? Like my stories, like I used to be on the server which was like I'm not going to say which server, but like cuz I don't want to, because they were very mean about my story, but it was something I needed to hear. And then I did another revision, and that one sucked too. So I was like, all right. And the third
I
revision is doing pretty well, I think.
I feel a little embarrassed because when he said that your first stories will be shit, I was immediately going to pull up Robert Eggers, but I actually didn't know that there were stuff he made before The Witch.
Hmm.
Uh, he made a Hansel and Gretel, which was a short.
Mm-hmm.
He made Telltale Heart and
Ooh.
Brothers. I did not know that he made movies. Well, they're all shorts. Telltale Heart and Brothers, and Hansel and Gretel. The Witch was his first feature length film. Uh,
What a debut.
oh yeah, Witch is a great movie.
Well, I think what he
But
means is his first draft, not necessarily your first story.
Yeah.
Um, that's what I think he's going for.
Yeah. Because,
Because
like, I think everyone can acknowledge that, like, your rough draft in anything is the prototype or blueprint. It's you trying to get your ideas into some semblance of a cohesive, like, whole. And really, the refinement and the redrafts are going to get you closer, hopefully, to what you want it to be.
mhm.
But, like, the important part is you need something to work off of.
Yeah, there's always going to be like um, you need to get your ideas out first, which is the rough draft, and
Yep.
then refine that with a first draft, and then you continue, and then after the first draft, you ask for advice and stuff like that. Have people look at it. Then you do it again as your second draft.
Yep.
It's really, I know it sounds simple, but it's not. It takes a lot of time and work and energy.
Oh yeah, like especially like getting a rough draft finished is already like a lot of work. Like that's why like I'm very disciplined with writing a certain number of words each and every day. Don't even like edit because really the thing is I just want to have a draft ready so that way I can revise it because I know for a fact it's not as good as it could have been.
Be honest, I don't know if my script is any good unless I go out there and actually voice it, because
Yeah.
in my mind's eye is always going to be like biased with with my own writing.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Is drawing, cooking, or MMA, no one is naturally gifted at it from the start. But unlike those other crafts, writing is a lot harder to recognize when you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, it's true. I love that. But like
That's so much fun.
there are some things that's like you may have a lot of ideas in your rough draft that's like perfect.
Yeah.
And changing that could be wrong. So this is
that's a
why it takes something else to recognize it.
that's a
I
clip.
think
Hmm.
yeah.
Sorry, I was just meaning to say that that's a clip that so many people who write can relate to.
Mhm.
You
Hmm.
you're trying so hard to to write something, and you're like, all right, I did it, and you only got like one sentence down.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. I talked to Trent about this, and he's like, and he agreed. It's like the first thing you do to write is just to write something.
Yes.
Just keep writing. Don't worry about it so much. Like,
Yeah.
people are so worried about the first perfectionist like thing and doing it wrong. It's like, no, don't even think about it. Just go.
Yeah. If I ever showed you what I was writing, you would be blown away at just like how not great it is. Cause like there's sentences, there's placeholders everywhere for stuff that like, when I'm in the flow I can't think of things. But that's okay because it's the rough draft. It's just getting my ideas out on paper. I'm just making the clay and shaping it loosely so that way the next time around when I redraft, I can get it closer going forward. And look, I get it. There is pressure to perform when you write because you're putting a part of yourself on the page. But that thing is that you shouldn't let insecurity and the illusion of perfection like cloud your mind. Like if we equate writing to like climbing a mountain, instead of
Ooh.
imagining yourself on the top, you need to climb like one stone at a time.
Yep.
But unlike those other crafts, writing is a lot harder to recognize when you're doing it wrong. In
True.
drawing, you can visually compare your work to someone else's. In cooking, you can taste your food. In MMA, you either get tapped out or knocked out. But in writing, it's not so easy. It's tough to gauge quality without knowing exactly what to look out for and what makes writing bad.
I wanted to write good things that were good. This is not good.
Look at a page from A Game of Thrones and one from Shadow of the Conqueror. At a distant glance, they look similar.
Hey, listen, we know, but we have to let them go.
I just want to say real quick, Shad, you are probably a really good guy in person. What the fuck were you doing here?
For context, people, I'm actually reading that book right now. It's something.
100% honest, okay? Don't mix words. Okay?
It's utter garbage. Okay,
Hey, there
it really
you go.
is. It is utter unforgivable garbage. Like this is the kind of writing that, as far as I'm concerned, is only made by someone who has ego and clearly just thought they were like the greatest thing since sliced bread. Like I can name indie authors who have less resources than Shad who have written better works. In fact, a book that I'm reading right now called Zodak is made by an indie author, and it is leagues better than this book that Shad has. And this is his debut novel, by the way, but I can tell he redrafted this thing and really put a lot of care and effort. Like, I won't get into Shadow the Conqueror here, but let's just say it is a lot of the things Shad goes after, coincidentally, is in this book.
I know what Trent's gonna bring up because I was there when he was editing this part.
Okay. My name is but most know me as the Grey Bastard, the Scourge of Nations. No. I'm just looking at these things, and I can tell which one has more gravitas. This is very casual writing, which I'm not saying. I don't know. The way Shad is writing, it's not necessarily bad. It's just
I beg to differ, but
well, no. I'm talking about this page. Like,
oh, okay, yeah.
And I'm like, all right, that's not so bad. All right.
Similar. They both use the same language, the same letters, a similar format. It's only when you start reading can you tell them apart. Some may even need a few pages or even chapters to figure out whether it's the author's unique style or they're just bad. Though I think if you genuinely imagine these scenes in a fantasy setting, I think it becomes a lot clearer.
All right then. I don't suppose I need to worry about a bringer causing trouble.
Indeed. Rather, we bringers try to bring as much brightness as we can bring. That's why we're called bringers.
I hope that wasn't some retarded attempt at humor.
Seeing that I'm not mentally disabled, I would have to say, no. It was a simple joke.
No. If you think that was a joke, you most definitely are mentally disabled.
That was
What are you serious?
Goodness. Yeah, that's a line of dialogue.
Oh my gosh!
Okay, let's
I can't get over that we bringers tried to bring as much brightness as we can bring. That's why we're called
like
bringers. This was like, what the fuck?
I'm
You're
laughing,
not
but I'm
Dr.
also
Seuss.
I'm internally cringing because Shad just does so many bad in that one line. First off, repeating a word multiple times, like unless you're trying to create some kind of rhythm, don't do it. And then this is if you want to really piss me off in terms of writing, is to throw in a modern anachronism. Saying someone is retarded or mentally disabled in a fantasy setting. Like, that doesn't fit the world that you're in. Unless, of course, the
that's
story
very
is like
modern. Yeah, like way of speaking.
Go ahead,
like
Bianca.
there are exceptions. Like, for example, if it is like a portal fantasy and the character is from the world outside of that, like I can see them using that, provided, you know, obviously, you know, there could be a meeting where like other characters look at them being like, what is this? What are you saying? And stuff like that. But still, when you are like verisimilitude and immersion are very important in writing. And when you use modern when you use modern anachronisms in writing, it reveals the puppet strings. Like, the illusion is broken, at least for me.
This is very, like, I could see this in Buffy. Because, like, Cordelia is like, what are you, mentally disabled? Get out of here. It's like...
Yeah, exactly.
But, like,
if Cordelia was in the fantasy world, it'd make sense.
But, like, oh, well, she was. But...
Oh, yeah, she was.
Yeah, but, but... neither here or there. There's also, like, God of War Ragnarok, when, like, Angry Boda has in pacing-wise and tone-wise, it's very modern, but she doesn't really speak anything that's from another era. She goes, like, I'm Loki, nah. Like, what was it, like, maybe you're lucky, or something like that. It's like, yeah, it's the closest thing, but that's never too far out of the exaggeration of the place, you know.
Yep. Mentally disabled.
That was unique. Uniquely shit.
It's not always this obvious, and that ambiguity makes writing much harder to both learn from and improve yourself. You might read a ton of books and try to mimic the prose of famous authors, but without knowing why or when those writers use certain techniques, you'll end up writing flowery, wordy nonsense without understanding what you're even trying to accomplish.
You know what that sounds like? Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Why does the boat float? Because it looks up toward the sky. It's like,
why does the boat float but a
rock sinks.
A stone sinks?
Yeah, it's like, it's so bad.
There's a great video by a YouTuber called Cardinal West, which I don't know if he's still producing content. I forget the video, but I can find it later. He talks about specifically like what prose is, and he has a really good definition for it. Prose in fiction is simply the way in which the story is told. So everything like word choice, sentence variation, like all that is important, especially when you consider that with novels, you're in the head of a character. So if you have a character who's like very well educated, it makes sense that they would use like flowery language, or like they would have more extrapolations versus someone who, to be blunt, is an idiot and would use like shorter sentences or, you know, not as refined language.
They would get to the point faster. Yeah.
Yes. So I think that is important with a lot of writers is you don't need to have purple prose for your writing. Like you can just have like, if you have accurate prose, that's enough. Like Brandon Sanderson has accurate prose. Matthew Stover, one of my favorite authors who did the Revenge of the Sith novelization, his prose is very simple. It's not overly descriptive. You don't have to be a Martin or a Tad Williams and have purple prose.
Or you can be the opposite of that, which is like Frank Miller in Writing of the Spirit. I love my city. Yeah. It caresses around me. And I'm like, shut up.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
It's like learning to play the piano. You might have listened to thousands of songs, you might have the notes, but even with that, your first attempt at playing something will sound bad. And you don't get mad about it. You understand that you're figuring out how the instrument works, so you practice and practice until you get it right. But then people don't think like that when it comes to writing. Many assume that because they have a cool idea and just write it down, it will be a masterpiece. It won't. And I'm not saying this to discourage anyone. I'm saying it because I want you to be aware your first stories exist to help you hone the craft. You're building a familiarity with the writing process. You're activating dormant creative muscles and learning how to actually use them. That's it. Everyone who wants to write something good has to go through this phase. Because to write something good, you have to understand the tools and yourself. Neither of those come without writing a few dozen duds.
Who wrote this? It's great, right?
So, don't expect your first story to be the next Lord of the Rings or Breaking Bad. It won't be.
I'm not the one.
Sorry, kid.
But that doesn't mean you shouldn't.
I think this is a very important point with like a lot of writers that because I frequent a lot of writing groups. There's a lot of people who, yes, it's okay to be proud of the thing that you wrote. I'm not going to take that away from you. But like, don't go in expecting what you're written is like the next like Lord of the Rings, Dune, or anything like that, because you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. That doesn't mean you can't put your time and effort into the work itself, but just be realistic. Because like, for example, there is a recent in the book talk space, there's a recent incident where a influencer named Audrey Winter produced a book called Age of Scorpius, and she had marketed this book quite a bit, like off of vibes and feelings on TikTok. She got like 6 figures for her Kickstarter. The book was a disaster. We're talking grammatical errors like every single page. She couldn't even like maintain the spelling of her own lore and characters. Well, it like on Goodreads before they locked it down, it had like a 1-star rating across like several thousand reviews. Like it was bad. And she was defensive about it. She was like, like she tried to pass the buck being like, oh, my editors didn't work on this enough. And I'm just like, what? I'm looking at this because I got a copy. I'm like, what editors? Like who looked at this thing?
Who are the credited editors, I wonder?
So like she took down the book and now she's planning to like re-edit it and re-release it in like December, which I personally think is not enough. You need at least like a year to like go back and redo this. But I think it goes without saying is that you need to realize that when you produce a piece of work, like, yes, you can love it, you can care for it, but don't go in thinking that it is the best thing since sliced bread. You can be proud of it, but when you do that, you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Try. Of course, if you already think your writing is amazing, then you'll never improve. So just assume that whatever you write, it can always be written better. And in time, you'll figure out how to do it. Number 2, your audience is smarter than you. I was going to add think, but no, this is better. Assume your audience is smarter than you. If someone giving you feedback says, I didn't get it, I didn't understand this, why did this happen, or why did this character do this? It's not because they're dumb or didn't pay attention. It's because you probably didn't communicate your ideas clearly, concisely, or in an engaging way.
Perhaps my story is too complex for these young minds.
I love that one.
Samurai Jack.
Well, when it comes to fans, or if you have fans, it's like something has resonated with them. And here's the thing. You don't always re-watch or reread your own work that much. When other people do though, they have all the time in the world to go over it and skim it. Like, and here's the thing though. They're not the only person that's doing that. And before you know it, there's a group of them. And they're going to go over it in details and look over it. And then they're going to bring that to the author's attention. Like, I don't necessarily think they're smarter. I just think there's a brain on the internet out there which gathers all this up and then puts it in a single like place for people to actually comb through.
Well, there are just people out there who just naturally can pick up stuff a lot better or faster than others. So that's why I think like intelligence or smarter in this case is just picking up on like what your plot is, what your character is, and if there's like any inconsistencies or problems or even just things that are like really good. And I think that kind of feedback, even if it can be a bit mean, is very valuable because
Yep.
it can cover for blind spots.
Internet 101, or I should say criticism 101. It's not always going to be productive. It's just going to be, people just hate it because they want to. Some people hate it and don't explain. Some people just like, I hate it because for valid reasons. Those are the ones that are constructive. Like
like if it's just your poopy head arguments, like you're better off just ignoring those because they were never going to have a good faith like
interpretation of your
approach
work
at
in the
all.
first place. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is fine. And then if they, because like, now here's the thing though, the reason why they have that constructive criticism because they want you to do better because there's something there that they like.
Yeah, exactly. If you have, like, Trend will allude to this later on, so I won't say it, but I think there's a lot of authors out there who, and a lot of writers who just have a high view of themselves and they consider any kind of bad feedback like sort of a personal attack on them.
Correct.
When they really shouldn't. Like, yes, it's one thing if the person like insults you directly, that's one thing. But if they're just going after the text, like what you wrote, you need to take a step back, take a breather, and just like listen. Like I know with a lot of
easier said than
critiques,
done when it comes to being a creative because it's always like, because you put so much blood, sweat, and tears into it, and then all of a sudden it gets lambasted by somebody, and it's like, man, you don't, and then you want to lash out saying, well, you just don't understand that I did the work, but it doesn't matter because all they see, they don't know how much baking it took to make that cake, or the ingredients that you put into it, or how much time it did. All they see and taste is the cake.
Yeah. I think Fringy from EFAP, he brings up a really good point about the developers, like for Halo, specifically
about
Halo 2.
I thought you're going for the Jackie Chan example of like, you're not going to go in every theater and like say it's like you know, and like get their grievances. It's like, no, it's not going to happen.
Well, yeah, because like Fringy was talking about like Halo 2, and that's for a lot of Halo fans, that's like one of their favorites. That had a notoriously difficult production cycle.
It
like, it was a
shows.
very and I forget the lead developer who said this, but he said something along the lines of, people don't necessarily care how the sausage is made, only what is the final product.
Yes.
And that is true.
Oh, absolutely. Like Halo 2 has the best story in the entire Halo series, but that gameplay suffers. Thanks to the rush production.
Yes.
Now, the urge to argue can be strong. You might want to explain what they missed, point out the hints, or defend your choices, but that's rarely productive. After all, there will be moments where your readers will not have you to explain things. If someone misses something important, there's a good chance you didn't emphasize it enough. Maybe the detail was lost in a dense paragraph, maybe it was formatted poorly, or maybe got lost between less relevant information.
Or maybe you didn't use it because it's in your own head. That happens a lot, where you like, oh, what I'm doing in my hobby, my comic hobby, is that I put a lot of stuff, that a lot of nuances, like in the background, but all the obvious stuff is put in text. But like their emotions and what they're talking about, sometimes it's okay not to explain it. Like,
or maybe there's a plot, yeah,
because like, not everything's going to be spelled out at first. Sometimes you have to. Yeah, I want the audience to have a chance to figure it out before I say it outright. You know.
Yeah, my bad. But like,
sure.
I think there can also be the case in which the readers can find a plot hole that you didn't account for.
Yep.
Because like, there are plot holes that you can find in stories, and really the objective part is like figuring out if the plot hole is actually there, and the subjective component is like how you feel about it. And I think plot holes just represent you not going through your work carefully enough. And look, you're not gonna find every error or problem. error long ago.
True.
Yeah, but it's better. But you can tell when someone does go through their work with a fine tooth and comb. And those are the ones that tend to rise to the top, or at least are more fondly remembered when that care and effort is shown.
What if it's kind of funny? It's like, well, did they do it on purpose or not? Like, are they gonna save that stuff for later, or like maybe it's important, but it's kind of like it's like, wait a minute, something's wrong. It's like, yeah, something is wrong, huh? It's like,
yeah,
or maybe the thing is finished too quickly, and it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I know it doesn't make any sense, but like I had to finish. It's like there's a lot of projects that have like that, and it's like it's off, but like, and so therefore, if it's a completed product, you're allowed to say it's not as much as it is.
Either way, the story didn't do its job.
Do you know why?
Oh my gosh!
A ship floats, and a stone cannot. The stone sees only downward, but the ship has a secret. Her gaze is not downward, but up.
Right.
The real challenge with feedback.
It's kind of funny that man, we must share a brain sometimes. Like
how does I don't understand how that works.
Oh, of course, like they just wanted to write flowery like a poem about a stone and a boat. It's like, man, I could do better. Like
there was no one in that writing room when that was read aloud, because that they do table readings of a lot of these scripts, who pointed their finger and be like, yeah, this line is not very good. We're going to be made fun of. And if that person did exist, like, do you know the meme with like the business meeting?
Yeah,
and they're all going through this, and the guy gets thrown out the window.
He gets thrown out the window. Yeah. Well, they did do that for like they had a lore master at Amazon, and they threw him out for one that just
Tom Shippey
that just agreed with him. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
thanks. It's like,
well, yeah, because Tom Shippey, for those unaware, he is like one of the foremost, like he's one of the most famous like Tolkien
I
scholars
thought you were going
out
to say
there.
4 Horsemen. All right.
4 Horsemen.
He's
I
like,
can't
he's
speak
dead.
today.
Hi.
He's probably to Amazon, but yeah, or this show. But he consulted for the Jackson films, so like he knows his stuff. But Amazon got him on board, and apparently he was not too happy with some of the changes that they were making with Rings of Power, and they got rid of him.
Yep, because it's like, you're disagreeing with our lore. It's like like, this is too progressive. It's like, nah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't understand. I really don't understand how that fucking works as a metaphor, because it's just basic fucking physics. It's not anything that I know they were thinking that, oh, these are fantasy characters.
It means
so
something.
So
Like,
they're fantasy characters. So everything that is basic physics has to be seen as a metaphor to them. And it's like, no,
no, it's
No,
it's like,
yeah.
you could have done another one about the wind or something, or about like the sea is always right. It's like, the heck are you talking about?
The sea is always right.
Oh
my sister drowned recently. The sea is always right. The fuck is wrong with you?
A hurricane took our town. The sea is always. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I apologize for that.
It's
So,
okay.
anyways, yeah.
I was just gonna say that when money, the difference between this and Monty Python is that when Monty Python said, if she floats like a duck, well, if she weighs the same as a duck, then she's made of wood, and therefore she's a witch. It's like, at least they know
That makes
that
more
was stupid.
sense. That makes more sense. Because it's actually like, what if we build a bridge out of a...
But can't you also make a bridge out of stone?
Yeah. Anywho, let's continue.
Is decoding it, because what people say isn't always what they mean.
I hate everything about it. The premise is bad, and the execution is also bad.
Tough, but fair.
For example, someone might say,
I actually want to add a little bit to that, because
sure.
this is a really good point. So I recently finished Random Film Talk's latest video on Spartacus, which is an amazing show, by the way, and he does a fantastic job of going over like why Spartacus is great. And in the end of the video, he plays a clip that Stephen S. DeKnight, the showrunner and writer for Spartacus, and it talks about how he likes subtext in his stories because
Yes.
he says that characters just saying stuff aloud and what they feel is boring to him.
That makes me
He
feel
wants
angry.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, he wants people to be engaged with the actual work and actually think about things because he trusts the audience. And Random just makes a really good observation. It's like this kind of like telling of like emotions and everything is just, it's, in his words, it's a blight on storytelling. And he brings up like Rings of Power and stuff like that. But you're even seeing this in like Netflix productions because people are like,
yeah. Oh,
people are watching
yes.
secondary monitors, and I'm just like, man, I miss subtlety. I miss it when like authors actually trusted the audience to actually pay attention because of the quality of the work. And it's like the last show that I think really nailed that for me was like Arcane season 1. Like,
yeah, I'd say like even Fearin has a lot of that. Of course, most of the subtext is in the visuals. It's not really the dialogue. So
yep.
But like it's and there's, believe it or not, there's nothing wrong with being direct. It's all about what you say, because at times you're gonna be direct.
or if there's like important exposition that you need to convey, that's an excuse to be direct.
Like I'm writing a prison escape at the moment for my story, and it's like, in order to talk each other about the escape, they have to be direct. Like because you can't have subtext in your plans. You need to be specific. Like
yeah. Like my own book, my mentor character explains very directly like how the magic works to my main character. And like it makes sense because, you know, he doesn't know anything about the world, and it also fits the character's personality because he is very talkative. And he is a scholar. So I'm like, yeah, that's all like hopefully I think is like very character related, and it makes sense because the character just doesn't know the world that they're stepping into. So it's a good excuse. So having a POV character, it's very useful for the audience to learn about the world as well.
Good stuff.
This character is very unlikable. Many writers immediately go for the all reliable. Heh, you know, not every character is meant to be likable.
Yes, I know.
And yes, that's true. We all love characters we're meant to dislike. The Joker, Joffrey Lannister, Walter White. But here's the thing.
I'd go for someone like Gul Dukat of Deep Space Nine or something. Like,
yes,
it's just like the guy's such a jerk, but man, he's cool. Like,
if I were to go for a more recent one, Oswald Cobb in The Penguin.
Yeah.
Yes.
You were obviously.
Sorry.
Sorry, I was just trying to say is you are meant to despise that fucker at the end of the story, and the thing is like you can. The thing about writing unlikable characters is that you can make them as unlikable as you want, as long as the writing on them fits, their reasoning for being there fits, and there's still a character who has enough traits to him where he can be likable in how much of a bastard he is.
Spike.
Like one of the examples I have for a unlikable character that's done really poorly would have to be, and I really hope
he's on screen right now. That's sorry.
I would need the rewatch BoJack Horseman, though I actually no, I don't really want to. But Transformers Animated, I think it's a good show. It's fine, but the thing about Transformers Animated is I fucking hate Sentinel Prime, and lots of people will go, "Well, you're not supposed to like this character." It's just like, I know, but he is so utterly worthless to everything that there was no point to him. There was going to be a point to him in season 4, but that got canceled. So all I'm left with is a guy who never wins a fight, never shows any sort of competence, never even when there are moments that are meant to flesh him out a bit, like for example, when he first sees Black Arachnid, he goes so overboard in disliking what his friend has turned into that even Black Arachnid is like, okay, you're going a bit too far on this, and then you have the big moment where he's supposed to stand in as Magnus or
Ultra
yeah,
Magnus.
Magnus. Yeah, Ultra Magnus. He's supposed to stand in as that. And you could have a moment where he finally learns to, try, but even when that fails, he just doesn't get anything fucking right. He doesn't have any moment for me to understand why he became what he became. Because if he's this worthless, pathetic, and such a fucking prick about everything, you have to wonder why he even became Prime to begin with. It doesn't make any sense.
At least,
so
like...
when
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So when you write an unlikable character in this position, you got to think about why he's in this position or why he is who he is. And when your reasons are flawed, I don't have any reason to fucking like him as an unlikable character.
There's no sense of like relatability when it comes to that. Like, he's not supposed to be likable and all that stuff. There's a difference between like enjoying what they're doing and having them be liked by the audience. Like, it's kind of like there's Beast Wars, there's Megatron and Rampage. Both are villains, but one is more likable, and one is a monster. But they kind of switched that on us because, like, Rampage, all he does is cause misery and pain to whoever he comes across. Like, he's just a beast. And so Megatron cuts out his soul and then uses it against him. And so that lets you have sympathy for the monster. That's like, because he's just obeying orders now under like a cutthroat villain. It's so useful as a tool.
Yeah. One of my favorite examples of an unlikable character, even though he's more of a villain, is Dick Hardley from Powerpuff Girls. Like, he's... First off, it helps that he's voiced by Jeff Bennett, the same guy who does Johnny Bravo. And also, too, like, his defining thing in that series is that he's extremely selfish and manipulative. And he does some absolutely horrible things. Like, I would actually argue he's one of the most evil people on the show. And it is because of his lack of compassion and greed that actually puts him... that it proves to be his undoing in, like, a very satisfying way. And I'm like, that is an example of, like, a really unlikable character who you kind of like, mainly because of just, like, how outrageously evil this guy is, and you want to see get taken down a peg or two.
It's kind of like, what's like Big Jack Horner.
Yes!
He's very evil, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, Big Jack Horner is a fucking maniacal little shit.
He takes baby unicorn's horns. Like, holy crap.
So that's what they do. I always thought this like I would have loved if Big Jack Horner said like you're not gonna stab a dog in the face, are you? It's like, yeah, sure, watch.
In the face, why?
No. I thought he said in the face, watch. Like,
no,
like, oh my gosh.
In the face, why? He's like, in the face, why?
Both are bad. Yeah.
See, if he was written by the same people who did Sentinel Prime in animated, Big Jack Horner would have always lost, never do anything right, and never really come off as a threat at all. And keep making the stupidest fucking decisions. But because his humor isn't derived of him being a punching bag, and he actually does come off as a threat, there is reason to, like him as a villain.
Yep.
Let's continue.
No one praises a character by saying they're unlikable. Instead, people say things like, I love to hate him, or he's such a great villain. Unlikable in feedback usually means, I didn't find this character interesting, relatable, or entertaining. I would like to see less of them, please. So instead of arguing, try asking questions. Ask the reader what didn't work. Better yet, ask them to describe the character back to you. If their description doesn't match what you intended, that tells you something was lost in the text. And sure, not every reader is right, and you don't have to bend your story to suit every opinion, but you need to understand why someone gives you that feedback.
The problem with the cover cannot be resolved by adding yet more bees, plus actual live bees.
Assuming your audience is smarter than you puts you in the right mindset. It takes you out of defense mode and into investigation mode. It helps you stop trying to win the argument and start trying to see the problem. And that's the mindset that helps you grow. Because once you see your work the way your readers do, you can start making the right adjustments. You are writing for them after all, right? Number 3, you're not writing for you anymore. If you're just writing a story for yourself, you don't need to watch this video at all. Go ahead, write your shipfics, your self-insert fantasies, your lore, whatever. But if you're trying to write something...
I love that episode of like Dexter's Laboratory where he's the dungeon master. Because that's what that is. He just wants to be the selfish dungeon master who's like, everything's under my control. It's like...
Well, he also showed an episode from obviously Gumball. I remember that episode. That was an episode in which oh fuck, I always forget her name. But the ice cream chick. Basically she finds a she finds a journal that was actually used to write scripts on like Cartoon Network shows, I believe. And she ends up using it to control the very story of the show Gumball. And she ends up writing a bunch of fucking fanfics of like characters getting together and shit like that. And it's a good episode. It's a really good episode.
All right.
Other people will actually enjoy, and heck, even pay money for, then it might be time to let go of that indulgent, self-gratifying mindset, because the story is no longer for you, it's for the audience. Not in the sense that you shouldn't enjoy writing it, you just need to find a different type of enjoyment. Let me explain. A good comparison here is tabletop RPGs like Dungeons & Dragons. In these games, you can either be a player or the game master. Players get to play out the story. They create the characters, build backstories, and make choices for those characters. It's personal, it's immersive, it's about them. But the GM is different. The game master has to build the world, structure the adventure, invent the characters, lay out the challenges, keep things moving, and most importantly, make sure the experience is fun and engaging for everyone else at the table. Now sure, both players and the GM are being creative, but notice the direction of that creativity. For the player, it's inward. What does my character do? What is my character's backstory? For the GM though, it's outward. How do I make this adventure exciting for the players? And that's the mindset you need to adopt as a writer. And yet, when I read a lot of beginner writers' stories, it seems to me like they still have the mindset of a player. They are less concerned about constructing the experience for others and more about indulging themselves through their character and expecting others to care about it.
Yeah. It's sort of like that. I don't quite, I don't know. There's something missing here. Like, how can I explain it? It's, it's like, you have, because the story that you're writing in the first place that got people interested is definitely something that is definitely could be personal. Because like, because there are like, am I wrong to saying that, like, there are stories like that people want to follow because they're about a certain real person, or like in what they went through?
Well, yeah, if they're inspired by it, or...
I mean, when you're writing for someone else, though, it's like, man, that is sort of like, no, not writing for someone else, you're writing for the audience. That is quite different. If you're writing for
like,
other... Yeah.
Like The Crow, I would say, is a really good example of the comic book and also the movie, because The Crow, James O'Barr wrote that story because his girlfriend at the time died in a drunk driving accident. And he was like incredibly depressed over it, and he channeled that into his art. Like, you know, someone who had lost his way and everything, and he managed to make that work in the sense that it's a really good comic book, and eventually the movie as well. So I think there is that happy medium between something that is personal to you through a real life experience, but then managing to make it work within the medium. So to use Trend's like analogy, I would say there is a way that you can be both the player and the GM simultaneously. You can be the player in the sense that you can enjoy the creation of the characters, like, you know, their personality, their values, what they can do and everything. But then you have to quote unquote switch hats and become the GM. Because at that point it's about figuring out how do you take all the stuff that you make and make it make sense in a believable, like entertaining way that's easy to be understood by the audience.
When using the sort of dungeon master thing, because I've been a dungeon master before, and I laid a trap, basically, in a meta sense. I added this innkeeper to their home base, and she got off her butt and actually went on adventures with them. She got more direct, and then she got more involved. She became a character, more or less. And it's like, so what I did, I took her away. I was like, yeah, she dies. It's like that. It was a plan, you know. And of course, like I got the reaction I wanted. So it's like it is sort of like you do have to manipulate events. You do have to sort of look ahead and stuff like that. And but like if stuff randomly happens that you planned on not happening, you can't be mad about that either. That's where sort of like the DM and writing sort of change. It's like you can't write something that you didn't expect, you know, or you know that the readers can change or whatever. The readers can't really change your plans in the middle of, you know, reading it.
Yes.
So it's like it is quite different, but still, but then those create like a lot of. It's almost like it's improv writing when it comes to D&D, which is not a bad thing because I'm writing my hobby writing the story is based after a D&D game. You know, but I'm modifying it to make sense within my own world. So, anyways,
I mean, yeah, like Tracy Hicks and Margaret Weiss with the Dragonlance books, like those were inspired by a D&D setting that they created, but to their credit, they managed to take that and make it into a cohesive story. A very good one, by the way. I highly recommend those books. If you want like classic fantasy.
Another thing I've noticing, it's like a lot of people don't like the Western anime style when it comes to stuff, and I'm like, as long as it's good, I don't really care. The only reason you guys are saying this is because there's really crap like Western animes out there, like, and they're all pretty much on Netflix. So like and so it's like, but then again, I see something like Fearin', and I'm like, that's a Japanese owned thing trying to do Western stuff, like because it's Western fantasy.
Yes.
So I'm like, so I don't care where it's from or what the inspiration is, as long as it's good. Like I'm not gonna control borders on people's like creative vision.
Yeah, you can tell that the mangaka Frieren, like she was heavily inspired by like classic epic fantasy, because Frieren has a very classic epic fantasy feel that is much more like cozy and like slice of life, and I like it.
That's very much D&D type stuff that I'm saying. It's definitely like traditional AD&D type stuff, but with a harder core rule set, like.
Yep.
Anyways.
You are my pawns. I control your fate.
That's typically how you get the Mary Sue characters, repetitive plot beats, overpowered protagonists, inconsistent world building, and forced emotional scenes. Worse still, it's where the hand of the author becomes obvious.
Come here. Kneel.
You'll notice characters being pushed towards acting out of character or events unfolding either too conveniently or in a way that doesn't make sense.
Or too fast, because you can definitely rush things.
This fucking season.
What? What is it? Are you being triggered by Arcane Season 2?
This fucking season, man. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Fraga, would you say that Arcane's second season was your personal Vietnam?
Uh-oh.
Oh, shut up.
Yes.
Don't pull a movie, Bob.
Here we go with this scene. hold on, let me go back a little bit.
Character or events unfolding either too conveniently or in a way that doesn't make sense. Not because the story led us there, but because the author wanted it to happen. These kind of writers tend to be too busy experiencing the story from the inside instead of constructing it from the outside. And that's really the rewarding part of writing. It's not about people admiring how cool your original characters are. It's about engaging the audience and making them care for something they otherwise wouldn't have.
I'll try one of these.
That is somewhat true.
Yeah.
It's like when it comes to like the reason why I said that like I set up a meta trap in my game is because I wanted to get a reaction. Like because like man, it's sort of like because as an author you live for that kind of reaction.
Yeah.
It's like or like if you're a moviegoer, I mean moviegoer. Oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot. I mean a director, and they have and they have their reactions, all the reactions you wanted. It's like that's more valuable than probably anything, like other than money. But you know.
Yes.
By the way, I don't like these two people right now. Just saying that, and it's not for political reasons. It's just you know, one doesn't want to finish his work, and the other one is psycho crazy. So you know.
I'll try one of these fucking George Martin books and see if this thing is any good. And it just carried me away. It just carried me away, which are what books are supposed to do.
It's this conversation between you and the hypothetical audience. As you write, you have to think, will this prompt the audience to keep reading? What questions would they have? Would they care about the situation at all? Once you start doing that, you learn to let go of your beloved OCs and see them not as main characters, but as parts of a greater experience.
You have to take your characters and you have to put them through crises. That's what fiction and drama is all about.
Yep.
That's a good point, George R. R. Martin. Now finish that fucking book.
Yeah, I mean, George,
the thing is though, it's like I don't necessarily agree that they have to go through crisis, but they do have to go through drama and
obstacle, some sort of obstacle.
I was gonna say conflict of some kind.
Yeah, conflict. Yeah.
Where it's like, in conflict is a very good word for it, because it's not always going to be a crisis. Because personal inner conflicts are going to be more interesting than an outward conflict.
Yeah.
I think a best example of it is actually, I'm thinking of Buffy itself, where it's like Dead Man's Party. They're having a personal inner conflict about stuff, about like, why did you do this? And all this stuff. And then you get all the characters who have been boiling over, have to talk about what happens, the cause and effect, and then the outward conflict comes to them, which is the zombies. Like,
yes.
So it's like, and then that, but even then, there's still the inner conflict that ends by the end of the episode, because they have to join together or they'll die, and that gets them back together, but it doesn't end the conflict. There's still inner turmoil that they must deal with later on. It's so good. Like,
yeah.
So,
I think a good thing that I've always tell writers this is that put your characters through meaningful obstacles, because when you put them through a situation that is difficult, we get to see who that character is, especially under pressure. And a good tactic that you can do with this is that if you've got a character that's like really specialized in something, make it so that way their specializations either don't work or not as effective. You got a knight who has a magical sword that can slay demons. Put him against a whole army of demons where he can't slay them all in one go because of overwhelming numbers. Or maybe he has to protect a whole bunch of people. Or better yet, maybe to take down that large army, he needs to recruit like a local lord. And he can't threaten that lord with that sword because that lord has power over him, or it's not going to get him what he wants. And thus, in the process, he learns how to become more patient, how to navigate the political situation, and becomes much more prudent going forward. So, like, yeah, just because you have a character that's like really competent, or it has like a special ability and stuff like that, assuming it's got like good limitations and everything, that doesn't mean you can't meaningfully challenge a character. Like Saitama from One Punch Man is one of my favorite examples, because Saitama's whole conflict is that he wants a challenge in life because he actually gets bored.
He's losing his emotion thing that makes him human. Because
Exactly.
he gained the power. But his meaningful conflicts in inner life is actually pretty minimal. It's like there's a sale going on and I missed it. It's like, yeah. It's like that's it. But anyways.
It's not your hero has a really good time.
Number 4. Do you even have a story? Yeah, I know, a harsh question, right? But I had to ask it more times than I would like. And that's because a lot of beginner writers don't actually know what a story is. They send me piles of documents with their fantasy worlds, magic systems, lore, character descriptions, design, and then go, what do you think about my story so far? What story? You're basically showing me the eggs, milk, and flour and asking me to rate your pancake. You haven't made a story yet. All this data you have is...
It's kind of funny he's doing pancakes. I thought he was going to do my example, just cake. Because, it's like, I agree. Because, lore and stuff can be edited in later. I think the story and character comes first.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I always tell people this. It's like, if we were to divide a story into its 3 essential components: plot, what is the story about? The setting, where it takes place; characters, who is the story about? People will forgive a very simplistic plot. They'll even forgive a setting that they've seen before. They will never forgive poorly written characters, because characters are the lifeblood of your story. They're the reason why people want to go back into that world. Why do you think people love the Lord of the Rings so much? Yes, the lore and everything is really cool. It's the characters. It's the people in the story. It's Frodo's story to destroy the One Ring. It's Aragorn's story struggling with his destiny of being a king and having to lead despite his own misgivings and stuff like that. Like, it's
his
the
doubts.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, his doubts. Yeah. If you can't nail those individuals, if you can't nail the people, like, what's the point in telling the story? Because at that point, you just have an encyclopedia.
Yes, you have a what do they call it? The appendix. Like,
yeah, the appendix. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Appendix in the back of the book. Yeah.
You haven't made a story yet. All this data you have is useless without giving it a narrative context. Look, I get it.
True.
World building is fun. You made cool character designs, amazing worlds, and all these backstories. But if the story ends
I love that episode. It's like, so if you don't know, Dee takes over as game master, and it completely ruins his edgelord fantasy. It's like, it's like, what about the evil wizard that's killing everyone? Nah, he's done. It's like, oh. And of course,
in many ways,
this is the perfect party. I think it might be a warrior, a wizard, and a ranger. It's like, oh, look at that. That's neat.
You know what I just thought?
Huh?
You know what I just thought
Oh
of?
yeah, no.
That whole
Dexter became a
Hold on.
Yeah.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
You know what I just thought of is, like, when Dee takes over from Dexter, I can't help but think like the Star Wars sequel trilogy when J.J. Abrams goes from Ryan and then from Ryan to J.J.
Yeah, well, he's not a... It's supposed to be a hobbit, but, it's not really a hobbit because we're not allowed to use that. It's like,
Halfling.
Yeah.
Harfoot.
I forget what it's called in the show, but, like, it's... All he does is dig. Like, so it's like, oh man. He's like, I want to be the Dark Warrior of, like, at 7th level. Like, here, you can have this guy. It's like, oh.
Being something like this.
And you're walking along, and...
Yeah, and?
I have to question whether you even have a story. This is especially common with artists and animators who love the visuals and aesthetics of their creations.
With animation you can create worlds unimagined by man.
They get so caught up in the aesthetics and tone that they forget to actually have a cohesive narrative. The truth is, no matter how cool your sword is, people care more about who's holding it and why. So, what is a story?
Well, let me break it down for you.
By no means is this a universal definition, but it's the one that should at least guide you down the right path. At its core, a story is a journey from conflict to resolution. That's it. 2 things: conflict, resolution. These 2 provide both a border and a direction for your story. Think of them as edges of a canvas, and you as the artist who has to decide what to draw without going beyond those edges. Now, the size of the canvas can vary, but the edges are still there. You could have very
yeah.
As a person who is, you know, writing, my biggest problems are, well, one, I don't have like a complete schedule on when to do these things, and uh, I I don't know when to make my deadline or so. But the other problem I have is that I come up with a beginning, I come up with an ending, I come up for all the other pieces that are supposed to connect the dots in some sort of way.
Yep.
And you know, I'm like, all right, I'm ready.
I
I'm
know
ready.
how you feel.
And then when I actually start writing, I'm like, so what do I write in between those moments?
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of that's what I'm doing in my story. I'm like, I know I want them to escape, but how do I make that happen in a realistic fashion? Like, cause and effect must happen, you know, stuff like that.
See, for my tale, like I had an ending, and I knew the middle of my story, specifically the midpoint, because like I'm like, it's a really cool concept for a midpoint, but like the beginning was really the tough part, like how to set things up and everything like that.
Yep. Me too. I was like, but once you start the ball rolling, it should be good. What really is like consistency in your schedule, because once you start a habit by doing it, it doesn't become if you'll do it. It becomes when you will do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
consistency and follow through.
The thing about, so hold on, I want to get to that. What do you say it was? Conflict and revolution.
Resolution.
Come on, Comrade Trend. All right. So, conflict and resolution. It is sort of like it goes from one place to another. I don't see really something that can't be that, because like I said earlier, conflict isn't necessarily something big. It could be something extremely small. Like, I have to go to the store, traffic, there's your conflict. Like,
well, yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, I ran out of milk, therefore I need to go to the store.
Yeah, it's like, that's a story. It doesn't have to, it's not a good story. I mean, I should say it's not an entertaining story, but it is objectively perfect, because there's nothing really wrong with it, but it's also nothing to draw on.
Well, yeah, there's cause and effect, and then there's like a resolution, which is whether you get the milk or not. The challenge is like, how can you make it entertaining? Like, if the guy's suddenly on the way to the store and he's caught up in like a bank heist, for example.
He gets hit by Truck Coon.
He gets hit by Truck Coon.
I remember this episode in Gumball.
Here we go, Gumball again. Let's go.
This is the second time I brought it up. All right.
Oh, I know. I'm. It's fine.
All right.
Let's go.
But anyways, so basically it starts out with all the characters on the bus. Well, all the kid characters, talking about like stories of their life and stuff like that. And then the character Molly decides to, you know, talk about her stories and, you know, what goes on in her life. But all there is like a beginning and end and nothing in the middle. Nothing to really intrigue the other characters or anything like that. So at the end of the story, Gumball and Darwin decide to just team up with the rest of the school to try and create a story for Molly to tell to them that would actually be interesting. And so they have all the characters do a bunch of you know, dramatic or out of nowhere bullshit for Molly to actually tell a story to Gumball and Darwin. And at the end of the episode, Molly basically simplifies the whole story to she simplifies the whole story, and you know, and she reveals to Gumball and Darwin, "Yeah, I know you did all that stuff just so that I could tell an interesting story that makes us good friends." And then she just goes about her life. It's just like you can have a conflict and yeah, conflict is very important, because if you just have a beginning and an end and you have nothing else in between, like a conflict or something like that, then your story will be a little meandering, if that's the
It's
right word.
it's sort of like how you tell jokes, because if I because like simple stories like you went to the store and got some milk, like that could be an Andy Kaufman joke. It's like he just goes on stage and drinks milk and leaves. And I'm like, but
Yeah.
but the thing is though, that's a subversion of what's supposed to happen. So that's why it's comedic, you know. So anyways.
Draw without going beyond those edges. Now, the size of the canvas can vary, but the edges are still there. You could have very short stories like Aesop's Fables, or huge shows like One Piece that can go for 1,000 episodes. But we all know that the story will end when the conflict is resolved. So let's briefly go over these two crucial elements and make sure your story actually has them.
And you're walking along, and a dragon comes out. And he's scary. Crazy scary. And he's coming to get you.
The most important thing to remember about conflict is that it's not the job. It is the grand overarching problem that the protagonist has to resolve. It's typically an internal...
That is somewhat true. There's the conflict of an overarching like sort of conflict, or it can go for each arc. Like that's what I'm planning to do, because like the whole character arcs is going to be finished at one point, but they're still going to have problems. It's
like Dragon. Well, like Dragon Ball is one of my favorite stories, where it's like the whole conflict is getting the 7 Dragon Balls,
and how they get them in different arcs, or it's about the tournament, because each tournament arc is really where all the is the peak parts of that storytelling of that series. Like it's. But like but then he had Naruto. It's like, well, he wants to become Hokage. That arc doesn't end until the very end of all of the story. Like, yeah.
Yep.
So and I don't count Boruto. That doesn't count. And, and then there's like Firen. Her overarching arc is to talk to Himmel again. Like, go to heaven.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right. And then, of course, Yu Yu Hakusho is just him growing up, and with each thing, it's all about the inner conflict of the character. It's not about an overarching thing. Like, that's good,
Internal one, but not always. But it is the problem that contextualizes all the other elements of your story. In Spider-Man 2, defeating Dr. Octavius is not the conflict. It's the job. The conflict is the balance Peter Parker has to find between his life and being Spider-Man.
I'm getting married.
I want life of my own.
I think that no, I think they're both the conflicts. I don't necessarily think of it as a job separately.
Well, the main conflict of the story is for Peter to balance his regular life with his superhero life.
Of course,
that is the main conflict.
I think a better phrase would be.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think a better phrase rather than job would be something like external conflict. It's the thing that's outside of the character that needs to be solved, and then you can have an internal conflict as well. Which the internal conflict is Peter Parker's like drama, and like him wanting to confess to MJ, but then
that
his
is the
role
main
in
focus.
Spider-Man is
yeah. I agree with that. Nah, I think the main focus, the main conflict is like Mary Jane stop being a hoe. I think that'd make it a lot easier for everyone.
In The Gladiator, Maximus is trying to get revenge for his murdered family.
And I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Finding other gladiators is simply the job that he needs to do to obtain his revenge. In Iron Man, Tony Stark's real conflict comes from Tony striving to redefine himself. Him building a new suit is just an externalization of that internal conflict, as is his fight with Ironmonger, a personification of his worst self. See what I mean? The world, lore, powers, foes are pretty superficial without the meaning conflict provides. Yet, for some reason, many creators tend to hyperfixate on the superficial. They hover around the concept phase, creating everything but the actual character journey. One of the reasons why One Piece characters are so unique is because they have very clearly defined goals, which present many opportunities for conflict and resolution.
I'm gonna find the old blue.
I'm gonna be king of the pirates.
I'm gonna be the world's greatest swordsman.
I'm gonna draw a map of the world.
I
am gonna become a brave warrior of the sea!
They may end up doing the same job, but their stories will be completely different. Resolutions work similarly.
Yeah, they're all a part of the same crew, but they all have different jobs because they're individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, like...
Well,
Yep.
Well, I think it also connects back with like internal conflict. It's like there's a common thing in storytelling,
An
which is
inner
the lie.
drive, as it were.
Yeah, the lie that the character has to go through, like that they suffer. Like for example, Alan Grant's lie in like Jurassic Park would be, I don't need any I don't need any kids because kids like weigh me down, and I like being who I am. But then as throughout the journey, he learns like the value of like being with like Lex and Tim, that being with kids is not a bad idea, is not a bad thing. And thus, like, his arc is complete, where it's like, yeah, he was dismissive of it because he didn't really get it until the disaster that unfolded in the park itself. Like the external conflict motivated that internal conflict and led and facilitated to that resolution of growth.
Well,
with Alan Grant.
I said earlier about the Dead Man's Party. The internal conflicts become the external conflict when it comes to their personal drama, but then the new outer conflicts brings them together, and when they're brought together through a common threat, they realize maybe this pettiness we've been doing isn't really healthy.
Yes.
And so it's kind of the same way how it's not The Promise. It's I forget what Avatar book it is, but it's like when they're not together through the war, the Avatar people or the group of friends, they're actually quite bitter with each other. So it's pretty interesting when they don't have a common enemy to fight.
The character may overcome many obstacles, but the resolution is linked to the main conflict.
I am Iron Man.
Of course, you could make a pretentious ending where you promise to resolve a conflict and then subvert our expectations by the character giving up and then going home. It's a resolution of some kind, just typically not a satisfying one. The important thing to know is that the resolution is the end of the story.
Well, it's kind of funny because that could go back to you're making it for someone else, because he wanted to subvert expectations in The Last of Us 2, but that would be satisfying for him, but it's not satisfying for the audience.
Yeah, unless of course like you have a subversion that makes sense based upon the
Mm-hmm.
information. Like Hot Fuzz is one of my favorite examples of a subversion, because everything that like Nicholas points to as to like what the motives were for the crimes in the town, they all make sense if you really think about it, based on like what he knows and everything. But then when you learn that like the townsfolk were doing it because they made everyone look bad, it's like it's a great subversion. Because you're like, oh wow,
it's
these
way
people are
simpler
just
than you thought it was. Yeah, it's like
exactly
not. Yeah, Froggo.
Yeah, sorry about that, Froggo.
Never mind. It's something really small.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Sorry. Once the conflict is resolved, that's it. And that's okay. You can start a new story, even if you want to use the same characters. It just means that a new conflict is needed.
I'm not the one.
It's kind of funny you say that, because Fearin is exactly that. The Demon King is dead. What do you do with your life? That's the conflict.
Yep.
He is the one.
And yeah, there are many more tools beyond conflict and resolution. Wants versus needs, subtext, twist, and all that juicy stuff. But at the bare minimum, figure out if your story actually has a conflict and a resolution. That is the meat of your story. Not how they look, the magic they use, or the world they're in. That's just the spice.
I usually throw in a whole banana. Then we're gonna add some protein. Now what I like to do, just for a little bit of taste, is add some protein. Then, and only then, can you add some protein and blend.
Number 5. Don't worry about season 5 when you haven't even finished the pilot.
Don't worry about season 5. That's pretty interesting because, like, I understand what he's saying here, but I don't know. It's like, man, I I typically say this. It's like as like part 2. It's like at least have an ending in mind. Like
Yeah,
like
like
mm-hmm.
you do have to maybe not like come up with the full story for what season 5 is gonna be, but if season 5 is your last season, then yeah, you got to come up with the ending for what you want to do before you start season 1, and then finish season 1, do all that stuff, then fill out the blanks for season 2, then fill out the blanks when you're done with season 2 for season 3.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's just like I understand he means of like don't worry about doing all of season 5 because
sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think in the best faith interpretation of this, and we can go through the video to see if this is correct, is that he's basically saying, do not, like, when you're writing your stories, stop looking so far ahead to, like, the future stuff to where you will neglect the actual story that you're telling right now.
Yes.
Like, it's perfectly fine when you're in the redrafting phase to seed events in for future books and everything like that. But like the goal is to tell like one good story and to get the audience in the door. Because if you're just so focused on like season 5 to where you neglect like season 1 or even like season 2, like it really shows. And like you even see this in like Hollywood and stuff like that where like everyone is so obsessed about like spin-offs and backdoor pilots that like they neglect the actual season that they're working on.
Or the product. It's like it's sort of like some a infamous season of Angel before 5. It's like, man. So it's like,
You got me thinking sequel here.
Alarms go off when I hear writers say, so I'm planning this big payoff in season 5, or this is going to be a 7-book series, especially when they haven't even finished their first draft. Sure,
So this is something, Trend, I know you're a Kitchen Nightmares watcher. He's had a whole bunch of them. So during the first season, I believe it's episode 3 or 4, and there's this guy. He's in the Hollywood scene, and like he knows a lot of people, but he's a horrible businessman because all he's thinking about is franchise. It's like, dude, you have to make a good pizza first. So it's like, yep, true.
Yeah, it's put in the carpet.
Our stories becoming.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I find it very apt that Trend was showing like Spider-Man and Stan Lee because that's exactly what Sony fell into trap-wise with the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Because they're like, we need a shared cinematic universe to compete with Marvel. So like, we're gonna hijack the Amazing Spider-Man 2 with all these spin-offs and tease everything, and they forgot to make a good movie.
Well, the Amazing Spider-Man wasn't that amazing anyways. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it wasn't great, but like the second one was just like, yeah, we just give.
It's more
just
obviously bad. Anyways.
To be a 7-book series, especially when they haven't even finished their first draft. Sure, we all fantasize about our stories becoming big, successful hits, spanning several movies, spin-offs, and even a video game franchise. That's normal, but those dreams should never interfere with the work of actually finishing a self-contained story. The hard truth is, if you're thinking 3 books ahead before finishing the first, you probably won't.
I love that. You know where that comes from, Byakuya?
What?
The phase 3, phase 2, phase 3.
Oh yeah,
this is it's not just the MCU, it's also like what the DCEU did. But yeah, they are making fun of that. But this is from what was it? The Fractured Butthole, which is which is the game.
That's a game.
I just love how this is just like their phases, and like so the super I don't remember each one, but like of course he's the Coon movie, Super Craig, Man of Craig. The
final Final
look,
coup.
look at Phase 3, Super Craig 3. The Earth explodes. Fast Pass 2. The Earth is okay again.
Oh, I get it. I get it because he runs so fast. He goes back in time to fix it. Final Coon and Friends movie
Tupperware the movie.
into a chick. Intro a chick. Yeah. It's
Kuni
just
Amigos, Latin America only.
but the whole thing of like they have an in-group fighting between their friends because one is more like X-Men and they're more like or in Marvel and the other team is more like DC. But the thing is though, it's like the Professor X, which is Timmy, and like and he's like, I made the franchises cross over. We were just trying to be friends. You know, stuff like that. And Friends Unite a movie after the Netflix series. It's like gosh.
Before finishing the first, you probably won't finish anything at all.
We have to just go with this plan. We don't even have one movie yet.
You'll overthink, spiral into analysis paralysis, and drop the project entirely. Worse, you'll ditch it for a shiny new idea and repeat.
Do you know what that reminds me of? New Year's resolutions.
Yep.
It's sort of like, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. It never happens because you never got started because it's just an idea.
Well,
the thing is, though, a lot of habits that you have take really, really a good amount of time for you to get rid of. At least it could take 5 months for you to get rid of a habit and to start one. So,
you know what the New Year's resolution reminds me of? So like in My Hero Academia, like season
the dreaded season 5.
Season 4.
Okay,
like
that's
the
fine.
with the overhaul arc when Shigaraki is like speaking to Overhaul and he's confronting him. Like, you know, Shigaraki is talking about like all of his like what he wants to do and everything because Overhaul's like, okay, what are you actually doing? And then Overhaul says a line that I think is very relevant for a lot of writers and in general, where he says like a goal without a plan is meaningless. And he's spot on because it's one thing to say that you want to do these things, but it's another thing to actually commit and come up with a plan in order to do so. And not to toot my own horn, but like when I wanted to sit down and actually write my book, I had to come up with a word count, when I was going to be finished, and how many words was I willing to commit to each and every day while writing it. And that was hard work, like, you know, to plan that stuff out, to find the time, to get to actually doing it. But in the process, I was able to actually commit myself to this goal. It wasn't just something in my head and that I was going to picture myself in La La Land. I was actually trying to make this thing a reality. And I think to tie this back to like Trend's video and stuff like that, when you constantly think about sequels, like spin-offs, like the world and everything like that, it becomes the toolbox fallacy where it's like, oh, I just need this one other tool before I can actually get started. No.
Oh, okay.
Get started
okay.
now. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about like in fact, I think that the whole thing about having all that stuff in your head is that it's too much.
Yes.
It's way too much for you to juggle. Instead of just it's like climbing the mountain again. It's like you need to do one step at a time. And if you keep looking up, it's going to seem like it's too much.
Yes. You got to focus on your footing. You got to focus on the thing that you're doing now. Stop thinking about the end or even just like the crazy stuff. Just like keep your to quote Star Wars, keep your concentration in the present, in the here and now. Like
it's like what was it like? You need to take your mom's ashes to the highest peak in all the realms.
The project entirely. Worse, you'll ditch it for a shiny new idea and repeat the cycle all over again.
Yep.
And look, I get it. You think you got a great character or concept, and your brain explodes with possibilities. You don't want your story to be some one-and-done fantasy novel collecting dust in a bargain bin. You want it to be the next Game of Thrones. That's fine. Ambition is great. But writing with that expectation in mind is where things start to fall apart. You probably heard this idea before, but ideas are cheap. You'll have thousands of those by the time you finish your first draft. What's not cheap, however, is time. That's the real resource. Being a writer isn't just about
time, huh? Yeah, of course, time, because like you have to execute those ideas, and it's like, and make sure they're solid. That does take time. Yeah, I
Yes.
agree.
But idea
It takes
generation.
time, care, and effort. Yeah.
But about curation and execution. Instead, keep it small, keep it tight, make something complete, and if people like it, great, then you scale. But what if you don't set anything up for a sequel? Here's the secret. You probably did. If you wrote a good story with strong characters, a compelling world, and a memorable tone,
Yeah, that's something I really hate about modern writing. You gotta set it up for a sequel. It needs to be set up. Like, no. The thing is, though, when critics say this, it bothers me a lot. There's nowhere for that character to go anymore. His story is done. And like, no, it isn't. All you have to do is lay a new problem at their laps. It's that simple.
Or if it's something like Lord of the Rings, where like you have cliffhanger / end of story, like you can still have that while resolving the main stuff in that installment. Like Fellowship of the Ring is like my favorite of the trilogy.
Yeah, boy.
Not because it goes into the next movie and stuff like that, but it resolves all the major stuff in that movie. Frodo and Sam's like dilemma, that's all resolved. You know, everything with Boromir resolved.
Well,
Aragorn's
yeah,
mission,
I'd say so. It's resolved, all
Yeah.
right.
It's definitely it's it's definitely resolved like by the end in a definitive way. And then Aragorn's like mission, like yes, it is set up for like 2 towers and stuff like that, but like
Yep.
his commitment is much more strong, and so is Gimli and Legolas as well. Like every character has something going forward for the next film.
What is it?
Yeah, Lurch
Oh,
was
sorry.
resolved.
Lurch
Yeah,
was
Lurch was
resolved.
definitely
He's like, go find the hobbits. I found them. Yeah, you sure did.
He was resolved. He was resolved in 2.
It's kind of funny. It's like, imagine if TV shows had this mentality. Well, the season's over. The big bad's killed. There's nothing for us to do anymore. It's resolved. It's like, no. You could just do something else.
See, I was one of the few people who were I didn't necessarily need it, but you know, I was open to the idea of Joker getting a sequel. Because yeah, Joker is his own self-contained story, and you know, there's enough said with that story. Uh, However, there's still room for what Arthur's journey will become. How will it continue? What other people will he meet? That sort of thing. But
Aquaman.
Then Joker 2 Joker 2 came out.
Joker 2 a la Ducks or something. I forget what it's called.
Pour les adieux.
With orange sauce. Yeah. But like yeah, and it's just because it's not something you don't expect doesn't mean it's good either. Just because it's original doesn't mean it's good. You know, like there's all these conditions that people lie to you about. You know, it's like it's gotta be this original. It's gotta wow the audience. It's gotta do this, and I'm like, tell them no. Tell them it's like I'm just gonna do what I need to do, and stay on track.
However, if you wrote a story and you did enough for the characters and plot to where you don't at all need a sequel because everything is resolved, there's no way of you continuing it in a more interesting manner, then that's when you've written yourself into a corner. Like for example, if Netflix were to announce, hey, we're doing a sequel to K-pop Demon Hunters,
okay,
you gotta wonder to yourself, is like, how the hell are you gonna continue?
But you know, K-pop Demon Hunters, man, it's the new hotness. It's really good. It's
take.
not like that movie has any problems or anything.
Hot take. We think it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's all right.
You think it's okay. I don't really like it.
Oh no, I don't
think
like
it's
it.
alright.
But objectively, it's okay. It's okay.
It's all right.
That's the reason why it gets a pass from most people. Is because like, wow, look, it's this very small oasis in the desert, It's like, yeah.
Yes. I mean, it had. I like the characters in it, so that's something.
The songs is the only thing of note that's any good.
Yeah, the songs are really good.
I found a vial that only has 1 drop of water left.
It's kind of like I think Byaku's the only one who would get this, but like it's kind of like when like Yusuke's in the cave going through his trial of absorbing the spirit orb, and he gets that drink of water from Pooh. It's like that's how it feels.
It's like that orb is just like all the agonizing pieces of media we've had to suffer throughout the year, and it's like K-pop Demon Hunters is like the one drop.
Yeah, it's
that's there.
I always love that part. Like, oh, I can't. Never mind. I can't say that because Yusuke's a foul mouth.
Oh yeah.
Anyways.
Viewers will want more. No one is asking for mystery boxes or MCU-style setup. They just want to go back to that world. So refine the experience you can deliver. Don't bloat it with setups or things that might never come. Many comments under my Husband Hotel video said that the reason why the story suffered was because Amazon only gave Vivzy 8 episodes. Sorry, but that's not an excuse. 8 episodes is about 184 minutes. The Godfather was 175. Runtime is runtime. Whether it's a show or a movie, it's your job.
That's true.
It's so true. I get so annoyed when people are like, because like the Acolyte being like, well, but you know, season 1 was setting things up. It'll be better in second season. It's like, no, you had 1 season to get this right, and you didn't get this right.
Stop trying to say the 6th season is going to be better because this first season sucked. It's like, no. That's copium, is what that is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Firefly didn't even get its full season. What?
Oh, sorry. I just noticed we have a chat. Hello. Sorry. Yeah, Arcane Season 2 sucks, balls.
Yeah, like...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like Firefly had 1 season which wasn't even fully aired, and yet it is still fondly remembered. Why? Because it was well written. And also Serenity was great. But
Arcane Season 1.
If we're just talking about...
so freaking good.
Yeah.
Silco is like another villain I love. Like
great villain.
Despite the fact that I do blame Netflix a little bit for giving K-pop Demon Hunters an 1.5-hour runtime when it was supposed to be 3 hours, I do agree that they could have rewritten the plot to have better writing and better ways of, fleshing out the characters.
It still has the problem of like second monitor, because they say everything they do. It's like, stop it. I don't care. Well, most people watch it this way. Yeah, well, you're ruining art.
It's got a good core, like a good a thematic core. So like I get why people like it. It's like,
to make it count. Believe me, it's much easier to make something great when you focus on what you have instead of fantasizing about what you might get.
You stink. But perhaps that is my fault.
Number 6. Writing gurus won't turn you into a writer. I know, ironic coming from me, but I don't even want to consider myself a writing guru. I'm not.
I'm not the Messiah! I say you are, Lord, and I should know I followed a few!
I'm not here to sell you workshops or...
I love that clip. Yeah, I listen, I like TNG Season 1, but...
Featuring Dante from Devil May Cry.
Oh, yeah, I remember that! Dude, that was in a Game Informer. Yeah, it was neat. It's neat. It's good. It's good rap. Kung Fu Panda 1 it's great. I love I think the bad guy's better than 1 and 2. But, that's just me. But, I like 1 better than 2.
Devil May Cry 1?
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it went from Devil May Cry to, I like Kung Fu Panda. I was like, oh, okay.
Kung Fu Panda
Kung Fu
1
Panda?
Yeah, it was neat.
I like both of them equally. Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2.
I'm reading chat, okay. So yeah, I love like it was a Game Informer. It was an RPG of some kind. It's like featuring Dante from Devil May Cry. I love how his eyes are in different places. He looks like a retard. So yeah, it's true. It's like just because you follow a writer doesn't mean that they have the best. Like it won't turn you. It won't transform you. Yeah, of course. I think that's kind of obvious in a way, but then again, I guess you do have to be more clear when it comes to a video. But it depends on what he says, because I think this is obvious, like inherent.
But I don't even want to consider myself a writing guru. I'm not.
I'm not the Messiah. I say you are, Lord, and I should know. I followed a few.
I'm not here to sell you workshops or ebooks on how to write. There's far better learning material out there by academically acclaimed authors like Dave Trottier, Robert Mackey, and David Bordwell. The truth is, people often get so hooked on the fantasy of becoming a writer that they forget to write. They watch hundreds of videos, memorize all the storytelling tricks, and nod along like experts. But when it's time to actually sit down and write something,
Gee, this is harder than I thought.
it's the same type of people who read How to Become a Millionaire in 30 Days or go to seminars on how to 10x your money. Spoiler alert, they don't work.
Those seminars can wear you out.
Anyone serious about becoming a millionaire isn't wasting their time at seminars. They're already building businesses, taking risks. If people think they can get rich in 30 days just by reading a book, they're probably not ready for it. Why? Because they're chasing a shortcut to something that only comes with practice and discipline.
True.
Like Kratos says, shortcuts always have a price. Like,
Well, well, yeah, because it goes to like there's so many people out there who when they're starting to write or do anything like creative, their whole fixation is like I want to get this right the first time.
Oof.
And it's like that is pretty debilitating because that's a lot of pressure that you're putting on yourself, and then also too it's not productive. Like you have to learn by doing, as Yoda says, do or do not. There is like no try. Like in this instance it is you need to put yourself out there. Stop being like insecure and thinking that that you're going to somehow like produce a masterpiece. When you let go of that and you just focus on, okay, what is it that I can realistically get
Ow.
done? What is the
Sorry.
bare minimum that I need to get started? Then you're in the right place. That's a good mental reframe.
There is also sort of the opposite thing where it's like you're too humble for your own good. You know your worth. It's like
Yes.
Don't always be the guy like, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I'm good enough. It's like, dude, I know I can write stuff, some stuff better than prolific writers. Like
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Let's anywho.
Same goes for writing. There are no shortcuts, no exact how-to manuals, and anyone claiming otherwise is probably trying to sell you something. Yes, you should build up your literacy skills and storytelling fundamentals. You should read books, watch movies, explore different narrative media, but don't just consume it passively with a second monitor playing while you
was
scroll on your
that?
phone. Study them, analyze them. Ask yourself, what was the creator trying to do with the scene? Why did it matter in the story?
Write that down, write that down!
That's where those aforementioned books come in. They help you recognize those intentions faster, but they won't do the work for you.
That's kind of true, but I think this is sort of, again, inherent to one of your other points. But I guess what are you doing if you want to be a writer?
Yes.
Where it's like there of course there are some people who do the there's the old saying, those who can't do teach.
Yes.
So there's some people who are not as good, but they know all the details of it. It's like, yeah, that because it makes sense. Also, when it comes to like there's a lot of people who come from a creative background who have the sort of saying, it's like measure twice, cut once. And that could be very damaging to a mindset of a writer, because they think the measuring twice is them spell checking everything. It's like, no, you need to like you need to do the whole thing again. Like
well that it comes from the idea that like people, it's the assumption that you like those individuals have made similar mistakes like that, and thus they're much wiser because they know not to waste not to waste something and make it count. And it's like, how can you potentially comprehend that lesson if you haven't actually made the mistake? because you need to get your fingers dirty. You need to like go through the process and suck. You know, I'm a programmer, and like the one thing I tell people is that if you want to get good at coding, you need to actually go out and code. Like, you know,
Don't you guys have
line by line.
phones? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Or Chat GPT. It's like no. You actually have to go and code line by line. Like try to figure things out. Like obviously seek out help if you don't know it, but like you have to, you have to wade through the mud in order to get good.
it's like using a thesaurus to write only. It's like, no, it just helps you with
No.
words. It's like,
Yes.
it's not the tools, it's you.
The rest, well, that's just life. Learning new things, making friends, making enemies, falling in love, falling apart, succeeding, failing, going out and experiencing the world. This is where the write what you know advice actually starts to make sense. If all you know is how to sit in your room and play Fortnite, you're going to struggle to write something meaningful. If you want your stories to have depth, you need to go out and gather experiences. Are you writing about martial artists? Go take a martial arts class. Writing about food? Go cook something. Writing about a long journey through a fantasy wilderness? Go hiking or camping. Go to a medieval castle and take in the experience of being in such a building. Pay attention to the way your body feels, the things you notice, and the thoughts that pop up.
I mean, this can be something like that, but listen, there's no castles around here. I can't do that. Not everyone lives in Lithuania. There's castles everywhere, Trend. I mean, come on.
Well, I think what Trend is saying is
yeah,
that
I know. I'm being a little cheeky, but
yeah, the human, because like I know for me, like parts of my story, like I was actually inspired a lot by watching nature documentaries about like trees, for example. When you learn about like how sophisticated trees are in the sense they can communicate and they're like a complex life form, it's like it's really cool, and it gave me inspiration for like my main character, his magic, how to represent that to the best of my ability. It's like you'll be amazed at how many where you can get your inspiration and your ideas from. Like for example, I was watching a documentary recently on the Roots Temple in like Thailand, for example, and I'm like, that's a really cool idea for like a set piece or a location in a story. Like you could do something with that. Like basically, what Trend is saying, I think, is be aware of your surroundings and just enjoy life, because what is storytelling but a reflection of the human condition?
Yeah, I think like there are like some video games that actually do really inspire me to do some things. Like if I explore a cave in a video game, it's like, wow, this place is like actually really dark. It's like and there's like glowing mushrooms or something. Like, oh, fluorescence. It's like that's a thing, you know. You don't really know how stuff actually works unless you see it, and like I think inspiration can come from anywhere, but it's definitely like, but definitely first-hand experience can get you somewhere.
Yes.
Or watching it, because like sometimes like it depends how you learn. Of course, there are some people who can't, who learn better from seeing than doing.
Yep.
So sure, like I totally get what he's saying. This is actually pretty cool idea. It's like, go camping. I'm like, no. There's wild animals out there.
I've done camping. It is really fun, but also just be aware of the wild, because like for example, I've encountered bears before, and
oh my gosh,
that's why bear spray is very useful.
Are they brown bears or just like
black bears?
Oh, black bears.
Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, but brown bear. I mean, brown bears are scary though. But like black bears, man, they can be equally scary.
Oh, absolutely. But they're like, I don't know. Whenever I see black bears, I'm like, are they supposed to be that cowardly? Like, anyways.
About how those sensations and experiences could work their way into your story.
What inspired this particular idea, the idea of the wall?
Well, it was Hadrian's Wall, actually. In 1981, 10 years before I even dreamed of writing these books, I visited England for the first time, and we came to Hadrian's Wall, or the bit that remains to it. And it was fall. It was getting dark and cold in England and Scotland, and I stood up there, and the wind was blowing, and the sun was going down, and I looked off, and I tried to imagine what it was like to be a Roman legionary from Italy or North Africa or the Near East who'd been sent to this really cold place on the edge of the world, and who knew what the hell was.
Is that from the book?
It might be. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, it is.
That's
wow.
I think that is an illustration from the book. Yep.
Holy cow! You know what that reminds
There's
me
a-
of? The Last Airbender. Like,
Yes.
The Great Wall.
You'll be surprised there's
Mhm.
a lot of great classic fantasy books where they got a lot of great artists to do depictions. I love that like classic like 80s to 90s art, and I miss that in like modern trad pop books.
Oh man, yeah, looks great.
Beyond there.
But you know what's the hard part? Paying attention to your own experiences. It's kind of like how a skater looks at a set of stairs. For most people, stairs are just stairs. For skaters, it's a setup for new tricks. It's the same for writers. Something plain and ordinary can become something fantastic, something incredible. Practicing this mindset will improve your writing far more than any top 10 ways to make your character interesting videos ever could. Some of those videos might be helpful, but I wouldn't get too.
It is kind of funny he's saying this, and we're watching a video about writing.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like I understand
that
though.
one
Mhm.
that one individual that Trend highlighted, I actually did watch a few of her videos. They are actually like really good. Like for example, she does have a very good video on like how you can actually finish your rough draft. And it's all like actionable things that like I've been doing and like
Oh, that's
a
neat.
lot of people can like benefit. So I don't think it's like I get where Trend is coming from in the sense of there's always going to be people out there who are going to try to sell you something, or like
Mhm.
they'll just give you're just like in this endless loop of like advice and everything. But it really does depend on the individual and the types of feedback, the types of actionable feedback that will serve like your storytelling. Because like for me, I know for a fact that like finishing a rough draft is not going to be like an issue considering like how far it is. But for me, the advice that I'm going to be taking is just stuff that's after the rough draft process. Like, how is it that I can tighten up the prose? How is it that I can look for a developmental editor to really refine like story structure? How is it that I can find beta readers? How is it that I can actually redraft like effectively? Like just a lot of next step process. And again, it's different for everyone depending on where they are in the creative process. Because really the difficult part is starting and maintaining that momentum. Because it's a marathon, not a sprint.
I was actually I'm gonna go and I'll be right back. You guys can do whatever. You guys can even go on without me. Oh.
I will wait.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Hooked on them. I wouldn't bother with the ebooks, the character sheets, or whatever else they're selling.
You can start throwing in random stuff once you get to the second page. Like,
Right.
There might be some good writing advice, but they might not be for you. And in the end, that's all there is. Just you. And because it's just you, you gotta remember one last thing. Number 7. Less talky, more righty.
We can wait for Falco on this point because I'd be curious to hear his take.
Yeah. I admit I do talk a lot, and there are points when I want to try and talk a lot about the story because ultimately I'm scared to write. Honestly, I'm a little scared of writing because I am very afraid that my ideas won't come to full fruition by the time I actually write it down into something.
It's a very reasonable fear. Like I can't tell you how many times I wrote something, especially during like my writing sprints, and I'm like, this is awful. Like, what am I doing? But then I'm just like, I swallow that fear and I'm just like, all right, just keep going. Like, do not resist the urge to like edit or obsess. Just keep moving onwards. Because really that's all you can do as a writer at this point. Yes, it's good to plan out your story. It's good to know what you're doing, but you know, you got to actually put your fingers on the keyboard and write and as Trent says, develop that muscle memory, because when you talk more about your story and stuff like that, like, yes, you get that dopamine hit of being like, yes, I'm going to be doing this and all this other stuff, but it's much like the SpongeBob meme where you're writing and then you write the word the. It's like you're not actually making progress when you do that. So like it's about discipline and holding yourself, being like, yes, I am actually going to write this, good or bad, show up and do it.
Yeah, what he said.
Hello, fucker.
I'm Bork.
Absolute favorite rule for new writers, and one many in my Discord have heard me say. Less talky, more writey. Nothing irks me more than people who only talk about writing but never do it.
Should I be the one writing about this? I think it should be me.
And just do it. Stop talking about it, for God's sake.
The Brian Griffins of the world, who won the title of writer but never write anything. I tend to leave those to their delusions. The bigger problem is the never ready type.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
The ones who ask a million questions about how to write a great story, but never start because they think they don't know enough or they haven't reached some imaginary threshold. But Trend, I want to be sure I'm doing it right before I begin. That's like saying I want to get fit before I join the gym. You join it to get fit. You write so you can get good at writing. I get it.
So, what do you guys think about that statement? The idea, it's like there's a imaginary threshold you must get to before you start writing.
I feel like that's directed at me a little bit.
It is like, I 100% agree with this, because I've heard enough writers discuss their work and everything where they feel like, oh, I need to get the world building just right, or oh, I need to like outline this thing one more time, or oh, like I don't know if this like my character stuff is quote boring or it's derivative, and I just want to be like, if I was like in the room, I just want to like grab them by the shoulders if I could and be like, look, get writing, stop overthinking this and just do it, because you're just avoiding the problem.
Because I don't really necessarily do the whole question him a lot of sort of thing. What I instead do is that like I write at least a few paragraphs, or I write a page or two, and then I go to Trent and I'm like, hey, would you like to take a look at this? And Trent does that a lot, but I hope he's not directed this towards me, because I do.
No, but you
still,
are writing though. It's not directed at you. Yeah.
I do still make sure I write before I let him see it.
Yeah.
The sort of thing is like I understand like you want to understand your basics before you want to go in, but it's definitely like I just did it because I think I understand what good writing looks like, and therefore it's like, well, I'll just give it a try. And it's and it turns out that like it was kind of bad, and then I got better, and I took and then I took it from better influences. I think that also helps. Like if you have like don't just copy and paste, but like have some like influences. Like I'm really into sort of casual dialogue when it comes to like between people and characters. So depending on the situation, so I copy a lot of like Joss Whedon's work.
Yep.
And Ragnarok, and stuff like that. It's where it's like it might be very casual, but it has a lot of purpose in it.
The fear of failure makes.
Hold on, let me go back a little bit. I apologize.
Trend, I want to be sure I'm doing it right before I begin. That's like saying I want to get fit before I join the gym. You join it to get fit. You write so you can get good at writing. I get it. The fear of failure makes people want to prevent mistakes before they happen. But how can you fix a mistake you haven't made yet? It's a useless exercise that keeps you from ever starting. The only people who don't make mistakes are the ones who never try. And that shouldn't be you. Funny enough, this praise actually came from a Muay Thai coach in Thailand. When I hit the pads, I tried to ask about my technique, but he'd simply say, less talk, more hit. At first, I thought he'd want me to hit perfectly rather than just hit. But here's the secret. Sometimes just hitting the pads is better than obsessing over hitting them right. You're building attributes, discipline, and instincts. Technique can be refined over time. A good coach will spot your flaws and adjust your training, but you have to keep hitting the pads. They can't help you if you sit on the bench talking about your style. You have to step into the ring. And yes, they'll whack you when you drop your guard or trip you when you're off balance. But that's how you learn, by failing, by stumbling. Writing works the same way. I'd love to answer every question, but if you haven't written anything...
Well, so what was... I forgot what I was going to say. That train derailed on my ideas. Wow. It's crashed. It's like...
Well, I think what Trend is just, like, he's saying is that tangible, like, when you're writing and you're doing something in a continuous effort, you are building that mental muscle, that fortitude, and just like that ability to recognize patterns
Your
in
confidence.
Storytelling, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, your confidence. That's why, like, I know for me, with what I do with my writing is I established a spreadsheet where, like, I take down how many words I write each and every day, and I have a certain number of words I write every single day for a certain number of time, because I use the Pomodoro technique for, like, writing sprints. And it shows, because I understand that when you're writing, it can be hard to see any kind of progress, but when you see your progress on a spreadsheet, when you see that you've been consistent in writing, it does release like a dopamine reaction. It does make you appreciate, like, oh wow, I actually did this. I actually was consistent for like 3, 4, 5 days, a week, a month, several months. Like, that's the kind of stuff that can really motivate you.
Start a habit.
To start getting into the creative juices and flow. And sure, your story doesn't have to be good when you write it. Like, I use placeholders everywhere. Just get something on the page that somewhat resembles what you want to write. You can always change it later. It's not like you're chiseling this thing in stone. It's like you're not like a sculptor who, like, has to worry about the marble and, like, one false move. There, you have a delete button.
You know what I'm thinking of? Trent's avatar has a thick neck but very small arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either that or the scarf is just supporting all that non-thickness.
Well, he is a robot, so, you know, doesn't have to make complete sense.
Works the same way. I'd love to answer every question, but if you haven't written anything, my advice is meaningless. How do you write your characters more interesting? I don't know. I can't judge a character that doesn't exist. How do you pace your story? No idea. Without a story, there's nothing to pace. See what I mean? Without work on the page, there's nothing to analyze. At this stage, it's not about writing well, it's about writing. It's your pad workout. It trains your skills, builds your discipline, and gives others something to critique so you can improve. You don't...
Which is... Yep. So, there's your answer, Froggo. He's not mad at you.
You need to fix every writing mistake, just yours. So yeah, less talky, more righty. There you have it. 7 ego-shattering truths I think every writer needs to hear. Maybe I stripped some of the glamour from writing, but that's probably for the best. It takes time, effort, and commitment. Decide if it's worth investing in, because there are many other creative paths you can take to express yourself. But if you do want to write, fall in love with the idea of taking people on a journey, whether it's fantasy, sci-fi, romance, coming of age, or anything in between. It's not about how intellectual you are, how many books you read, or how clever or cool your characters are. It's about making someone care about a world that exists only in their imagination, and for characters who live only on the page. If the thought of that gets you hyped, good. Then I can tell you the 8th secret truth that you need to know. Number 8. You're not alone in this race. As much as writing feels like a solitary pursuit, like jogging or hitting the gym, becoming a writer isn't. You're stepping into the world filled with millions trying to reach the same goal. There is a reason why I wear a tracksuit instead of a hipster blazer.
Oh my gosh, he's throwing shade at
Little Platoon.
He's throwing shade at Little Platoon. He's so much better than you, Trent. How dare you?
I do love Platoon, by the way, but you know what? I like Trend as well.
Oh yeah, so. I'm sure this is all in jest, you know.
Oh yeah.
But still, I understand. It's like I understand what he's trying to say, but like I think I'll let him say it. It's like, yeah, you're not alone. You need other. There are other creatives with you who are trying to do the same thing, and they can help you out before things get too bad. You know.
Yep.
Tracksuit instead of a hipster blazer or turtleneck. To me, writing is not about being the chosen one.
You guys mind keeping it down? I'm trying to write a novel.
It's more like being a side character in a sports anime. Just another determined runner with your own style and philosophy pushing towards your dream.
Come on,
Of course,
Goldchip.
It may not feel that way when you're writing alone in a cafe with a frappuccino, but it is. Your goal is to reach the readers through your words, just like those who have once reached you. Your rivals? They're your contemporaries. You might not face them head on, but they're still on the same track, tackling the same obstacles.
There is something I want to ask you.
Oh man, that is something. It's like, am I your rivals when it comes to writing? Like, I don't know.
No.
Are the rivals of critics? Like, I don't I guess other writers are just like your competitors, but in a sort of way, because you're trying to tell a story and they're trying to tell a story and you're competing for readers. Like, yeah, that makes sense to me.
How the fuck do you write so many books so fast? I've had a really good 6 months. I've written 3 chapters, and you've finished 3 books in that time.
So why not run alongside them? Why fall behind when others are running ahead and improving with every single redraft? You can criticize Vivzy Pop all you want, but you can't take away her success. She put in the work, stayed the course, took the hits, and kept moving forward. Yes, her technique has flaws, but that hasn't stopped her from crossing the finish line again and again.
What was that? I understand what he's saying though.
Yeah.
But like where it's like, at least when you put in the work, people see the effort of your work. Yeah, absolutely. But when that effort leads to something bad, you know, it's like, well, there's something to that effort still. It's like, yeah. That's how I feel about like sort of like the recent Alien Earth, because I watched a little bit of it when late at night when you guys are watching it, and I'm like, you know, this looks really good, but that scripting sucks balls. Like, is there something? All right.
If you think you can do better, get on the track. Write, learn, fail, get feedback, then write some more. The key is to keep moving. You might stumble, slow down, and even backtrack, but the only time you truly fail is when you quit entirely. But that's okay too. This track may not be for you. This race is for those with the drive to keep going, no matter how far the goal is. And I hope that this video will give you a head start. Thank you for watching. As always, if you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. There are a bunch of goodies in the description, as well as an invite to the Discord channel where you can share your work and get feedback. If you see some value in this video and want to support my endeavors, consider leaving a tip on my Ko-Fi page or sending a super thanks. Good luck on your writing journey, and I'll see you around.
I like that ending. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Intervention time.
All right. I gotta get going.
All right.
Same.
Oh yeah, it's kind of later than usual because this has been a long one, but you know what? It was a worthwhile one, and I like that video.
See, anytime we do long videos on good videos, I'm sitting here going like, you know, I do need to do something, but you know, I want to stick around and see what else he has to say. Whenever we watch like a bad video though that's pretty long, I'm like, please just fucking end already.
Yeah, but it's gonna happen. So
Well, because it shows that like Trend actually put a lot of care and thought into like all of his points, and they're all backed up like really well. And they're all like actionable things that like writers can hopefully take away from. Like, I think his strongest point is less talky, more writey. It's like, yes, if you want to be a writer, you have to write. There is no way about it. It's like trying to say that you want to be a football player without you going onto the field or lifting weights. It's like, no, you got to do it.
American football. All right.
Yeah, American football. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta get going. See you guys. Have
Oh.
it was a good episode.
Yeah.
See ya.
So I'll just do my outro real quick. He's like,
Sure.
So I'm still writing that Buffy episode. It's going real well
Neat.
with the notes. Notes are doing wonderful, and so it really does help. I've gotten 6 pages done.
Nice.
So it's like, yay. So yeah, I guess that'll be it. I know you're writing book.
Yep.
Said it more
Write
than
my
once.
book. Yep. Yeah, I recently hit 45,000 words, so I'm like halfway there.
Woo.
So I'm like, yep, gotta keep going.
So I'm just gonna end there, and you guys have a wonderful day.